Within 5 years, it will drastically reduce need in juniors and middles. In any case, it's our future, so there's no turning back. It will be.
In 5 or 10 years, it will be a very dangerous place to be.
This is why they pay money.
It's not about the answers now, it's all about the questions now.
And you can do whatever you like for your life.
I love the way it is in programming, people sharing ideas. Hi there, hello everyone, and welcome to OnlyMonster Podcast, sharing some interesting information and insights from inside of the industry. I am here today with a software engineer, team lead with more than 15 years of experience, Dima. So glad to have you here. It was a pleasure to meet you in person and have those interesting conversations, so welcome.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I'm really glad to be here.
Nice. I personally am a person with a little bit of knowledge in specific technical things, but to my extent, what I know from this area is definitely not even comparable with what you know. So today I would like to ask you a little bit more about the depth of the technical aspects of software engineering. We are, after all, the software, the tool for OnlyFans agencies who would like to manage profiles in a convenient and efficient way. So that actually consists of a lot of features and tools. You are the person who manages teams who actually develop that kind of tools. So let's dive a little bit deeper into that kind of area, those aspects that bring the technical mind together and result in a feature and a tool that users can later on have advantage and use it and have some value from it. So when it comes to developing a product, could you let us have a little bit of idea how that all works, generally speaking?
In general, so idea is that we need to understand what we actually want to deliver. And for case of your application and your services you provide, it is the huge goal is to automate something. And to automate means to spare time for people so they do not waste their time, and program will do some chores and something stuff, some not interesting stuff, so real actual people can spend their time for something much more interesting. And this is our actual goal. This is what we need to deliver, is automation, we need to deliver time to people. This is why they pay money. They buy time for their life, for their ideas. So this is what we're doing. And keeping this in mind, everything will be aligned to deliver this product, to deliver time to people. You always need product owners, people who understand what we need, what feature we need to deliver. So it is not technical idea, it is what it is needed for an actual humans and actual business owners, everyone. So someone need to represent them, so to deliver actual requirements. Then it is technical stuff. From technical point of view, we always have more than one proper solution. So we start trading. So because we can deliver a very complex, very sophisticated, very perfect solution, but it may take a longer time and it will cost more. It will cost much, but it may be not even needed. So it may be an upgrade. Sometimes you can use more time and more expensive stuff as an upgrade to existing lower quality, but sometimes it is not even an upgrade. So it is absolutely natural that in some cases requirements and the feature should be pretty simple. So it will be only a waste of time to create something more sophisticated. So it's also very important to balance this stuff between quality and price to create an optimal stuff. So we deliver what we want and we deliver for monies people really want to buy it. So everyone wins.
So it all starts with understanding what the end customer actually needs and what tasks need to be performed, in what way it all needs to be automated, and how it brings value. So starting with that, product team goes to the tech team, the software engineer, the front end, back end, and then they come up with the solution that actually works for people and brings the needed results in the most efficient way, like you're saying, right? Least amount of time, the exact number of things that it needs to do without extra stuff, which is kind of redundant.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and also from technical point of view, you have one layer of compromises because you already picked some technology, you have some tools which you use. Also your team, you probably already have a team of people, and people know something and do not know a lot of stuff else. So you cannot deliver any kind of a product. You're actually a little bit limited by already technologies and people who you have. So you also need to consider this, because your team can deliver, if the feature will be in one way, done in one way, you can deliver it in 1 week. And if you want this almost the same feature but like drastically in another way, then your tools are supposed to do this. It may take like months, several months, and so it will be cost inefficient. So it's a second layer when you actually need to discuss what actual feature we can deliver or not based on our technologies, because it is usually when we develop some product, we create a framework, like it's like a building, constructing a building. You have some architecture framework, and then yes, you have opportunities to add one more floor, maybe add some balcony, but you cannot turn a skyscraper into bridge. So you need to also always to consider this stuff.
Interesting example. It kind of gives the idea on how this could be visualized. Even I need that kind of feature. It will bring me that kind of value. And then we take a month or even 2 months, sometimes even more than that, to bring that feature to the market. However, you might think it doesn't really need to take that much time. So as per your experience, years of experience, why could it take way more time than expected than someone who has basic knowledge of programming would say, this takes a week to develop. Why are you taking 2 months? What would be your answer to such a question?
Yeah, estimation is the boon of this stuff. So to properly estimate, you need experience of estimating. So it is even not related to experience of programming, because I know a lot of people who have a lot of experience in programming, they cannot estimate because they keep saying this will be done when it will be done. And the only way to understand how exactly much time it will take from you is to make estimations, any assumptions on anything you can do, write it down, and at the end of feature delivering, going back and review all you did, how much time it actually take, and what went wrong, what went well, and re-estimate for the next time, and repeat and repeat and repeat. No, there's no exceptions.
I believe that is what usually is called the retrospective.
Retrospective is a little, this term is more for, it's not that personal, it's more for a team, have a retrospective, what goes well, what goes right. It's also a good idea, good stuff, but it's for a team. And in any case, a single person, it is like my skill to estimate my efforts. And so I can move, I will take this skill with me to any company, and I will just improve it and improve and improve. So it is always valuable for any developer to do estimations, because they became better themselves, regardless of the company they're working at. And so, yeah, estimations is, and also, even with experience, we miss a lot, because a lot of moving parts, and in general, if it's something new, so if in your example, like you create new feature of automating some stuff for specific needs, for a specific person, so a lot of moving parts, it is, you can see like it's crafting, it's artisans. We're artisans and we create some custom-made stuff. So it's not shoe from factory. We create a specific shoe, but with specific measures for specific person. And so it may be something we do not know, and it may come up. The more experience we have, the more experience we have with our current architecture, the more we tested our current approaches and our current tools, the more precise we will give you estimations, because we know how everything works, we know what we can do, what we cannot do, and but in general, yeah, because a lot of unknowns.
I assume that it's also related to how big the team is. I mean, one thing is the personal estimation when someone says, okay, I know this technology, I can evaluate myself, but then it's how we coordinate the team, how bugs come out, how you can solve them quickly and all that stuff before the release, right?
Yeah, generally, yeah, this is also a general case when you ask a developer how much time he needs to develop stuff, and then one-to-one translate this estimation to customers. This is absolutely wrong, because a lot of programmers will only estimate their own effort when they work full-time uninterrupted, which is just a fairy tale. So, I mean, this is okay for some middles. Probably middles can work. Actually, this is actually stuff. Middles maybe their estimations may be very precise. I mean, they cannot give them properly, but if you gave an estimation for, as a team lead, I can give an estimation for a middle, and he will actually do this and will be very, very precise in this estimation, because there's very little interruptions. They don't need to answer questions, communicate with other people, communicate with other teams, because I will, as a team lead, cover this stuff. And so this will be this way. But yeah, in general, you need always adapt communications, testing team, delivering bugs on there, bugs on deliver, bugs somewhere, like, maybe you just like, if you have communication with other departments, or like cooperation with other departments, you can double the time, because it is always huge overhead for communications. It is just always huge.
The meetings, the explanations, the teaching.
Within team, it is okay, it is manageable, but when you start to collaborate with other teams, it's just drastically increases estimations and actual time to develop stuff.
Yeah. Well, this is something to take into account when you talk to customers who actually need some kind of a tool and feature to be developed as quickly as possible, and it's also the matter of prioritizing. Do you think the new technologies like AI could actually help do that faster, better? Is it possible that AI to some extent replaces some certain part of the team, or it actually enhances the team and nobody gets replaced? What do you think about these latest AI trends?
What we have, absolutely, it will replace some people. Absolutely, it already is a part of how we work. It is already helping. It is already to some extent replacing. And I believe, like, my rough estimation, how I feel it, like within 5 years, it will drastically reduce need in juniors and middles, because some LLMs will provide code on the level of middle programmers, and what they need is very specific prompt, very good, very constructed, finely tuned prompt. And this is already what I'm doing when I'm giving task to middle. I do not just throw some description. I pretty much elaborate on what to do, where to look at, how to do this within our exact project. So I do a lot of work, and I already do this. And a lot of time, if I work remotely, it's maybe in form of text. So I already even type this. And instead of doing this and giving this text for a human, I can give it to some chat, and instantly I will be given with some code, and I review code from middle, and it is usually heavily reviewed for me, and I do a lot of adjustments. And it will be the same for the code from LLM. I also need to review it and add a lot of adjustments to precisely embed it into our project. And so it will be the same. And yeah, we will have a gap. We will have a very huge need in seniors and leads, because we will still we need to create prompts and we need architecture. Everything will be needed, but we do not come up out of thin air. We grow through being juniors and middles, and there will be no juniors and middles. And we will like within 10 years, I feel we will start to have an interesting situation.
Wow.
Interesting situation.
Someone who knows what he's talking about saying such a thing brings me an idea that, wow, we are in a very peculiar situation right now. So you think that it's the right moment to start and pass those stages of being junior and middle, because in 5 or 10 years it will be a very dangerous place to be?
I believe it is still possible, absolutely possible to do this, to still within like 3 years, 5 years to hit senior proficiency, senior level of expertise. So it is possible. Also, especially if you start not just learn how to program, like to write some code, but also be more conscious of how you structurize your requests to LLMs. So to AI, to ask it. Maybe I'm not exactly that proficient in this stuff, but I still feel it's okay for now. Like opportunity window is definitely closing. Already we see it is much harder to find a job for juniors or middles. So it's like we hit our first crisis in programming. Like jobs limitation is hit, and it is hard to be hired as a middle or junior, and this is for the first time in history.
Wow.
Yeah, so we actually hit this stuff.
Interesting.
Yes. So, but for instance, at the moment I feel one particular stuff is automated testing. And this is interesting stuff because automated testing requires you to write some code, some amount of code, but actually quality gate for this code is very, very low, because this code is really not for developing. There's no need in very sophisticated architecture for this code. It's mostly code to do some automated stuff, testing, without to use not manual testing, but to automate this stuff. And all you need is to think like a tester how you want to test this. So it's much more important to understand what test cases you need to do to cover this stuff, and then you just dump this into chat and get code of some acceptable quality, and you have auto tests. So it may greatly reduce time. We get pretty decent auto tests which actually help and actually improve quality, but still we need a person who will come up with all the intricacies of what tests, how tests, because also we need to test for our exact applications, so we have exact features, and this cannot be generic. So you need a person who will understand what actually you want to deliver and how it may be broken, and so on and so forth. So it's also like automated. There's like the perfect time to become an automated tester.
Okay. You know, I heard some phrase recently. It's not about the answers now. It's all about the questions now. So if you are good at making the prompts, asking what you need the exact way you need it, then you get the result. Even you portray it as like a magic pot, so to say, or at least I'm hearing it this way. So now it's the result that comes up that requires some kind of adjustments, the code that chat gives, and that kind of reflects how middle could work as well, and some adjustments will also be required. So it's interesting to learn how AI can bring you the desired result, and then to use it, implement. I believe we can definitely say AI is needed nowadays for a programmer, for an engineer, to improve and enhance his work, right?
Yeah, I mean, needed, yes. Also, it is, in any case, it's our future, so there's no like turning back. It will be. So you either accept this and like merge with this and enhance yourself with AI tools, or okay, you will be replaced. What I would actually recommend is to use these tools not just to generate code, but to ask it for much more explanations and elaborations, because value is not to put a prompt and put back code into your code base and then put another prompt. The value of a human brain is to comprehend what is going on, because only then you can comprehend what to ask and what answer you were given. And this comprehension, this capacity of human brain, this will not be replaced for a long time. Yeah, and this is what will be valuable.
It sounds like that for sure. If it happens that you are already a senior level engineer, if you know how to use AI to improve your work, I invite you to take a look at links in the description, because we are currently hiring senior developers to become part of our OnlyMonster team. So welcome to check the links in the description below. And as Dima is saying, it is the right moment to learn, to comprehend, and well, using AI that can definitely be useful in both constructing, building the code, understanding why every line is there. So this is an interesting point. I had myself some experience writing the code, and if I just give a prompt and get the code, it would be okay, but asking it to give some explanations, comments, elaboration on why it is there, this is an interesting point, and I really like that you highlighted. Speaking of recommendations, some strategies, that was something that I also wanted to ask you. If someone is only starting their programming path, or if it's someone who already reached some high level and maybe wants to investigate more, to know where to move, what's the vector of direction to take, maybe you have some ideas, some advice that you could give, speaking in terms of what you can say, because I know that there is some confidential thing that you might not want to say, but in terms of this, not competition, but collaboration, so to say, someone who is just starting, what advice would you give to such a person?
It's interesting you said the word competition, and this is absolutely not what we have in programming ecosystem, because it is so open and people deliver so much knowledge for free. They just pour it into internet, on sites, into books, anything. We just share between each other knowledge because we just like this. There's no competition, and if you want to become a programmer, just open internet and ask questions.
Offering you double, triple salary, whatever. Is there some way to contact you, maybe get in touch with you? Possibly someone is looking forward to asking you to educate some kind of team, maybe do some kind of educational stuff. Shall we leave the links in the description below?
Absolutely. I mean, yeah, it is. I usually prefer to have a single project, because I can concentrate whole my mind to this, and this is how my brain works. But also I'm a mentor, and I love this, and I have experience in mentoring people and giving advices and answering questions, and I know how to do this, and I know I have a passion towards this, and I know I do it pretty good. So, and I never tried, so all my experience of mentoring people was just within a company for free, because it was huge company and it has capacity to give us time to mentor some people within company. But in general, I'm absolutely open to, if someone needs knowledge, has questions, I absolutely love to answer questions and elaborate on them. I'm absolutely pro sharing knowledge and comprehension of what programming is and how to automate things, because for me its main idea of programming in general, for me, to automate so people can spare their time and spend their time for something much more interesting for them in their lives than to do some chores. I will automate these chores, and you can do whatever you like for your life.
I love the way it is in programming. People sharing ideas, doing all that because they are passionate about it and easily educating each other, mentoring each other. Wow, that feels good. And thank you for sharing those interesting points, insights, and ideas that are in this programming world, in the software engineering industry. This is OnlyMonster, sharing the ideas, insights, and useful information with everyone who is looking into knowing a little bit more from the inside of industry. And I'm really glad to have you here today, Dima.
Yeah,
thank you so much. Big hug.
Thank you.
Thank you.